Hey folks, John Peterson here, and it's time for another edition of Which One Works. This is my ongoing series where I bring you into my digital darkroom to look through my library and pick images that I think work, some more than others, and I'll walk you through the comparison of what I look at and how I judge an image compared to a similar shot, and pick the one that I want to use to process and then eventually share out into the world. So let's go ahead and jump into the computer and take a look at a few images. In this episode, I have a smattering of images from different locations that I've been to over the last year, trying to just give you some great examples of different things that I look at in this concept of evaluating images. The first one that you see here comes from Monument Valley. I was down there leading a workshop earlier this year, and in the afternoon we stopped at the House of Many Hands. You can see some of the hands here on the wall behind it. And what really caught my attention was the shape of the rock and the shape of the shadow. That's the essence and the reason why I took this series of photographs. So knowing that that's sort of my essence of the photograph, I want to pick the best one that captures that and maybe give some context with the pictographs that are on the wall. So this first one I like. I've got a great good number of hands here on the wall, which is wonderful. Really nice shape to this. This is a reasonable photograph. The second one I like almost even more, and I tell you why. It's this shape of the rock is far more interesting. The shape of the rock, the shape of the shadows. This is far more interesting. But the thing that I miss is I had to move my position, and I cut off a lot of the hands that you see down here. So I've lost that element of visual interest, and part of the reason why I took this photograph, and part of the reason that helps give context to where I was. But the other thing that kind of bothers me is this little bit up here and the way this exits the frame. It's kind of busy. It's ascending from the lower left to the upper right, which tends to cause tension, and it just doesn't feel all that great. Yes, I could probably crop it in and get rid of this little bit of an area, but then I have this strong line coming up and exiting the frame. This bothers me, and it may not bother you, but it does to me, and I've kind of reached the point where I really pay attention to these really, really small details, and some of the details affect how I think, but some of it is how I feel. And the way this makes me feel, I don't really care for it. If I go back to this first image, notice in the upper right, see this flat line? It's a nice calm exit to the right side of the frame. So I like that feeling a whole lot more. So for this image, I love this this level line. I love the hands. But this next image, I love the rock and the shadow. Is there a compromise? Thankfully, I found one, and this is unprocessed, so it's a little bit darker. But notice that I have a few more hands down here in the lower left. I've got a great shape happening through here, and I have a relatively level, slightly decreasing line leaving the frame. Makes me calm, holds my interest right in the middle of the frame, and the lower left gives me context. So this is the one that works best for me. Now this next series comes to us from Alaska. I'm heading back to Alaska in September of 2025, and I've got one spot left on this workshop. And we photograph grizzly bears and the landscape, but really it's about the grizzly bears. And so a lot of wildlife photography is about capturing eyes, capturing expressions, that type of stuff. So let's look at a couple images here. This first one, bear sitting in a very kind of funny, awkward pose. Great, I like it. Notice how the animal is looking directly at the camera. Love that. That's just exactly what I wanted. In this next one, same kind of pose, and notice the bear's nose. It's slightly canted to its left or right. So it's sniffing the air, it's looking for something. So there's a slight subtle change in its behavior. And it's a nuanced thing, but it kind of adds a little bit of visual interest that I really like. However, the bear is not looking directly into the lens of the camera. It's looking just a little bit off center of looking directly into the camera. So that is a little for me. I'm not sure I like that. This last one, I still get a little bit of a cant of the nose, but the eyes are looking directly at the camera. So this is the one that's going to work for me. And just like shooting people, animals are no different. You want the eye contact to hold the viewer's attention. You would like expressions or behaviors. And if you study your subject long enough, you'll be able to see and notice and predict certain behaviors and be ready to capture them in your camera. All right, this next one, real easy. This is shot down near Bandon, Oregon. I had a workshop along the Oregon coast. And we went out one morning because the rhododendrons were in bloom, and there's some roadies against this spruce tree. So there's shot number one, and there's shot number two. It's very subtle. I'll go back to number one, number two, number one, number two. And let me draw your attention to these leaves right up here. Watch these leaves as I toggle back and forth. Brighter, less bright. And the only difference is I dialed in a little bit different amount of polarization. I was using a circular polarizer, and here it is with very minimal polarization, and here it is with more polarization. And what that polarizer does, it cuts down the reflection of the wet leaves, so the color of the leaves can shine through. There's before, there's after. Pretty obvious choice. I'm going to pick the one with more polarization so I can see more of the leaves and have more of that vibrant green color come through. Kind of in the same location, I found these beautiful ferns. And anytime I can, I like to shoot both vertically and horizontally and see which one I feel works better when I get home. So here's a vertical shot of some of these ferns. And here's a horizontal shot of some of these ferns. Both of these shots I think are good, and both of them can work, but they feel very different to me. When I go back to the vertical one, notice down here at the bottom I have some open space. So it's calm, it's a good quiet entry point for people to start at the bottom of the frame and look their way up. Then notice how I have these vertical stalks. It's giving a lot of great upward motion into the back of the frame. So I've got great verticality and great direction and flow in a shot like this. When I go to the horizontal, let's look at this. A little bit busier entry point down here at the bottom. And I've just got this width, this breadth of green texture, repeating patterns across the image. And I don't get a sense of flow, I don't get a sense of pattern, I don't get a sense of shape with a shot like this. I have this, really nice vibrant foreground that's really well lit, and then the midground here, there's a dark hole, and then the background's just a little bit brighter. So I kind of almost have these three different sections of this image, and it doesn't feel coherent to me like the vertical one does. So the vertical one, again, I got flow, I got motion, everything's together. It just feels like it's a more put together, integrated photograph than the horizontal one does. So I picked the vertical one. And lastly, I just got back from the Palouse up in eastern Washington, and one of the locations I take people to is an old barn but it's got this tin shed along the side, and it's got this vertical straight up and down chimney, and then a tilted telephone pole. And it's a fun exercise to play with angles. We have the angles of the roof, we have the straight up and down of the chimney, and we have the 30-degree angle of the telephone pole, plus the repeating patterns of the windows. It's a fun exercise to shoot in different ways and see which one you like the best. So here's one shot, a little bit more wider open. I've got more of the barn. I've got all three windows. I've got the chimney and the pole, of course, and then a reasonable amount of sky up above. The second shot, a little bit tighter. I've got less of the roof, less of the sky. I've only got two windows, and I've got the chimney and the telephone pole. The difference between these, to me, are this is a more contextual shot. It's more about the barn, the windows, the sky, and there is a chimney and a pole. Versus the tighter shot is more about the chimney and the pole that happens to be against this barn with windows and a sky above. So kind of the order of importance has changed due to the tightness of this photograph. And the whole reason I'm taking this photograph is because of the chimney and the telephone pole, and it happens to have a barn. So this tighter shot, to me, captures more of the essence of why I took this photograph. Yep, this is nice, this works, I like it, we love things in threes, but it's more of a general, almost documentary shot. This to me feels like more of a design study of a vertical line, a diagonal line, plus the lines of the barn roof with the two windows. So this is the shot that works for me better than the wider one. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Which One Works. I hope you can see that some of the evaluation criteria, it's a little bit in the head, but it's also a little bit in the heart. It's how images feel or make you feel. And those can be, authentic feelings, or they can be also subconscious visual cues that our brains are processing to make us feel a particular way. So when you compose a photograph, understanding a little bit of how we process visual information can help you create better compositions. Alright, so if you like this and you're not subscribed to my channel, please feel free to like and hit the subscribe button down below. It always helps. If you have any questions or comments about which ones work for you and why, I would love to hear them down below in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day, and please keep shooting and please keep being creative. We need more creativity in this world and more artistry and more beautiful things to look at. So I just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. All right, folks, have a great day. Bye-bye.